just 1 month away from the start of the NBA season, so let's go coast to coast and take a look at some key players who will be returning to the court. Let's start with Kawhi Leonard, who missed 12 of the Clippers' final 14 games, including most of the playoffs. Kawhi was also a late scratch, of course, from Team USA. Zach, what do you want to see from Kawhi this season?
It's not what I want to see. It's what the Clippers need. Their margin for error for staying in the play-in, the play-in is down to 0. If this were 2017 Kawhi and 2018 James Harden, they'd be fine. It's almost 2025.
All right, well, let's go to Jimmy Butler then, who played 60 games for the Heat last season and missed the entire first-round series against Boston. He just turned 35 this month, and we all remember what the Godfather said at the end of the season. So, Fez, how much can the Heat expect out of Jimmy at this point?
Well, one thing I know about Miami Heat is they do not do mediocre. And for Jimmy Butler right now at age 35, is that enough? Because when you play against the Miami Heat, what you're expecting is a tough team that's going to make you work for every bucket. So at 35, can you carry this team and continue to give them that every possession for the years to come?
And that's the question Miami is going to be asking. LaMelo Ball, he missed 60 games last season with an ankle injury. He's entering his 5th year and is still just 23 years old. So Kendrick Perkins, do you believe LaMelo gets back to that all-star form we all know is in there this year?
Oh, absolutely. Look, he fills up the stat sheet. He's averaging about 20 points for his career, six rebounds, 7.5 assists. He's one of the most popular athletes on Instagram. He's one of the most exciting players in the league. Can he take that leap as a leader and at least get this Charlotte team into the play-in tournament? I believe he can.
Well, he's been in the gym with Charlotte a whole lot this summer, I'm told. Let's go to Ja Morant, who played just 9 games last year between the suspension and then a season-ending shoulder injury. But remember, when he's healthy, Ja's an MVP caliber player. However, he's also never played more than 67 games in the season. And his return, it is going to be one of the biggest variables as we check out who's going to be fine in the West. But the Grizzlies injury report last year, oh my goodness, Perk, you would say it's longer than a CVS receipt. Brandon Clark appeared in only 6 games. Top off-season acquisition, Marcus Smart suited up for 20. Desmond Bane missed nearly half the year, playing in just 42. So all in all, that big 578 games, that's combined what the Grizzlies players missed for injuries last season, far and away the most in the NBA. And the last time Ja Morant played the majority of the season, that was 2022, 2023, right? And the Grizzlies, they were the 2 seed in the West. That's the famous "I'm fine in the West" interview. So I'm going to start with you, Festus, because we have been high here on the Memphis Grizzlies. Do you think Ja and the Grizzlies are poised for a return to be at the top of the West this year?
Malika, you began this whole thing with that interview when he said, "I am fine in the West," and it hasn't been the same since. I think that Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, they have a lot of pieces on this team that really can take them back to the top. But they have to prove it to me. Because it's been a few years, there's been a lot of injuries. This team has no continuity. They haven't played together. Desmond Bane played, 20 games last season? Marcus Smart played 20 games last season, and Desmond Bane is also dealing with some injuries. So Ja Morant coming back, he is a superstar. As you see right here, he's a high flyer. He does everything you need from a point guard on the floor. But after all these years and the West getting better, they have a lot to prove to me with Jaren Jackson and Marcus Smart coming back as Defensive Player of the Year candidates. These are people that can play. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies have to show in the West that they can be fine again.
So do you think that they can? Where are you putting them?
I don't see that happening, especially not next year with the West getting with how good the West has gotten the last couple of years.
Interesting.
Talk to me, Perk.
I didn't want to have to disagree with my boy Festus on his first week at the job, but damn it, I got to. I completely disagree with you on this one. I believe that the Memphis Grizzlies have the potential and going to be a top 3 team in the Western Conference. The only team that I'm actually putting above them that's penciled in is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Ja Morant, okay? Ja Morant. Let's not forget who he is, okay? Let's not forget that we actually took a whole entire camera crew, all the ESPN elites of the best down to Memphis to go eat that good barbecue and to go cover Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. When you talk about one of the top players in the game, that's him. Let's talk about Desmond Bane, who's going to be sharing the backcourt with him. A guy that's proven that he could go out there on a night-to-night basis and get 20 points per game. Jaren Jackson Jr., he's going to be that guy that they need him to be, is proven. And Marcus Smart, a veteran that just watched his former team win the championship. This team is going to come back on a mission. This team is going to come back with a chip on his shoulder. And two guys leading the charge is going to be a leader in Marcus Smart and Ja Morant, who's looking to show the world why he deserved to be back in that conversation with Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, and Luka.
Big Perk, I do not want to disagree with my big fella either, but what I will say is the West has gotten better. For you to be a contender in this league, it took the Memphis Grizzlies years of building that chemistry, that team morale, and that confidence that they had going against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. So these are things that I think the Memphis Grizzlies can eventually get to, but can they be contenders this season? You have to show me that. You have to show me after a year of playing.
When this core is healthy, you know what they do? They win a pile of basketball games every year. They were the 2 seed, and then the year before that, they were the 2 seed again. I think they're going to vault back up into the top 4. To me, the most interesting name we haven't mentioned is Zach Edey, and that is one of the key questions for this team. He may walk right in to a starting role on a team that fancies itself a top 4 team. And he's an experienced college player. The production is always through the roof. He's ready, more ready than your typical number 9 pick anyway. But you rarely see a rookie entrusted with that kind of role on this kind of team. But give me all the Memphis Grizzlies stock everybody sold in the last calendar year, because it ain't been that long since this team was toward the top of the standings in the West.
Zach, if you told me that they will be the same fast-paced team that ran around and played defense, all those, yes, I will give you all that. But with their health injuries and everything being in question, I can't see it. Like I said, you have to prove it to me. I told you they have the potential to do it, but it's going to take some time to build that chemistry again.
I think this is going to be bulletin board material, Perk.
Yeah, and listen, Zach, if you was in the same room, I don't know if I want your bear hug after watching you do push-ups and knowing how strong you are. I think I might just want to share a beer with you and we'll be partners still. But look, I'm telling you, I'm a believer in Ja Morant the same way I'm a believer in Anthony Edwards. It wasn't, I get he was injured, but think about when he came back from the suspension last year and he had everyone, including us and everyone on social media, going crazy because I believe the Memphis Grizzlies won like 4 out of 5, and then he got injured. He just brings a different type of tenacity. He brings a different type of motor. And again, Marcus Smart, that guy that's going to be the heart and soul of that team, that veteran in that locker room to hold guys accountable, and he's going to be on a mission as well. I got a lot of stock in the Memphis Grizzlies.
We just need to see that Marcus Smart, that Desmond Bane, Ja Morant lineup work consistently. We saw it in tiny flashes, but we don't have enough of a sample size yet to see it, and I am excited to see Ja Morant back.
Can we put bets on there? Can we put bets on?
Well, Perk would say after 2 grown men disagree, the next word would be bet. And maybe you can bet one of these, because win or lose, they're going to look good this season, right? To celebrate their 30th season as a franchise, the Grizzlies are going to be rocking these throwback Vancouver jerseys. They played their first 6 seasons in Canada before moving.
NBA star mocks Sheryl Swoopes' comments on Caitlin Clark. New Orleans Pelicans guard DeJounte Murray couldn't resist poking fun at the notion that Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark isn't dominating. For anyone questioning whether Clark had an outstanding rookie season in the WNBA, they need only look at the record she shattered. Murray, clearly amused by this debate, had something to say about it. The 2022 NBA All-Star left a comment on a Bleacher Report Instagram post that listed many of the records Clark broke this season. Murray wrote, "She's not dominating," followed by a string of laughing emojis. This was a direct jab at recent remarks made by women's basketball legend Sheryl Swoopes on Gil's Arena. Swoopes had bluntly refused to call Clark's rookie season dominant, marking the latest instance in what seems to be a pattern of downplaying Clark's achievements. However, most of us who have seen Clark in action know how dynamic she is on the court. The record books paint an even clearer picture, with Clark breaking nearly every rookie record imaginable. But her accomplishments didn't stop there. She also set the record for the most assists in a single WNBA season, regardless of position, and scored more points than any point guard before her. Her combined averages of points and assists have never been matched, making Clark responsible for more total points than any other player. That's what real dominance looks like, which is why Murray's playful comment hit the mark. It's becoming increasingly apparent that Swoops may never give Clark the credit she deserves, leading to some lighthearted mocking along the way. Regardless, Caitlin Clark's dominance is undeniable, and for anyone still in doubt, the record books speak for themselves.